Hey, it's Ahlia here, also known as Coach Ahlia, and I work with founders and CEOs, leaders and entrepreneurs, helping them do work they love and be remarkable leaders. And one thing I have found about all great leaders is that they inspire people. All great leaders are inspiring in some way. And I learned this earlier in my career that there are a couple ways that you can inspire people, and there's only one way that truly makes a difference. And so I want to distinguish that for you. So earlier in my career, I found that a lot of people would come up to me and say, "Oh, Holly, you're so inspiring." And I thought I was doing a great job, and I thought that that was a really positive thing, that, I was inspiring people because they were saying that I was inspiring them. And of course, my ego was very happy with that. And then I started to notice, wait, hang on a second, these people are saying I'm inspiring, but they're not doing anything differently in their own life. That's not the difference I want to make. And so I started to see there's a difference between you being inspiring and people putting you up on a pedestal and saying, "Oh wow, like that's amazing that you did that. That's amazing that," I've had clients who've sold companies for millions of dollars. I've got a client who just got into Y Combinator. I've got clients who are incredibly well spoken and can do pitches and presentations and look incredible on stage. And people can of course look at them and look at all their accomplishments and what they've achieved and who they're being, and say, "Wow, that's amazing, you're so inspiring," and put them up on a pedestal. That's one way that you inspire people, and people will use the language of, "I'm so inspired by you." But actually, what you really want is to inspire people such that not only do they say, "Wow, that's amazing that you can do it," but, "Oh, if you can do it, I can do it." My favorite definition of inspire comes from the Latin root, and it's to breathe into, to breathe life into. And so I always think every leader should aim to breathe life into people. And when you breathe life into people, not only do they see that you can do something, that they see that they can do something. And they now have access to taking a different action, looking at things from a different perspective, and approaching things differently. And that's being a truly inspirational leader, is having people believe that they can do something that they didn't believe they could before, and then actually having them take a different action that they weren't going to before. And so I really encourage you to focus on inspiring people in a way that breathes life into them and that has them take different actions. And I know that I was sharing this with a client recently, and he just had that aha moment where he said, "Oh, Holly, lately I've been talking to a lot of people, and they've been telling me how inspiring I am, and I realized that actually they've been putting me up on a pedestal. So what I'm going to be doing differently is when they come up to me and say, 'Oh, you're so inspiring,' I'm going to say to them, 'Hey, you can do it too. So what are you going to do differently now that you're inspired by what I've done, or what you've seen me do, or what you've heard about my story?'" And I think that's a great way to start making that shift of, having people put you up on a pedestal to really breathing life into them. It's just asking them a simple question. "Wow, thank you. I'm so glad that you're inspired by me or my story, or, my accomplishments. What are you going to do differently as a result now? What are you inspired to do?" And just encourage them to really think about that for themselves. I hope this has been helpful. I would love to hear from you. How do you distinguish inspiring people for yourself, and what have been some of your successes or challenges around that? Please leave a comment below. And until I see you again, remember that you've got some genius and brilliance within you, and when you discover and express that out there, you are going to be most fulfilled and be of greatest contribution in the world. So get out there and lead with brilliance. I'll see you soon.